I remember being in bed. It was quite early in the morning. I heard a bit of a knock at the door. Dean got up and opened the door.
It was the summer of 1986. Dean Alley and his fiancée Alicia were fast asleep when Jamie John Curtis and a 16-year-old accomplice broke into their flat in suburban Hobart.
And then the next thing I know, I had somebody's hand over my mouth and a knife at my throat.
The men repeatedly punched and kicked Dean Alley, tied his hands and feet and put him in the shower.
Jamie Curtis said to me, if you don't do exactly what you're told, you'll end up like your boyfriend.
They then raped her repeatedly as her fiancé laid helpless in the adjoining bathroom.
They both assaulted me separately and together.
And how long did this go on?
For a few hours.
She is a victim of one of the most horrendous crimes. I say God even forgot about her that day.
Retired detective David Plumpton says even 3 decades on, the details of the case are seared in his mind.
They dragged away in their car to a country area, Gretna area, which is, out of Hobart.
Curtis stopped the car for petrol and again to buy beer. After a 40-minute drive, they came to a remote bush clearing.
I said, well, can we go now? You're obviously where you need to be. And Jamie Curtis said to me, are you stupid? We're not letting you go. You've been conned. You're not going anywhere. And my heart just sunk because I thought, they are going to kill us.
He siphoned some petrol from the car, poured it into a chainsaw and started it up.
He thought that it would be just like the Chainsaw Massacre movie. They started the chainsaw up and taunted us with it. And Jamie Curtis said to me, have you ever felt the blade of a chainsaw on your bare skin?
She, Alicia, is put in the boot. Radio turned up in the car. He's taken away. And he's stabbed to death by them both.
Curtis let Alicia out of the boot and told her they'd stabbed Dean to death. He showed her the bloodied knife they'd used to murder her fiancé.
They then take Alicia and show her the body, her deceased partner, who only 6-8 hours previously she'd been lying in bed in her own home, having done nothing wrong.
I was scared because up until that point there'd been 2 of us, and now all of a sudden it was just me. And I thought, if they're capable of doing that, they're capable of killing me as well.
The men sat on the riverbank and drank beer until it ran out. They drove back to the pub for more. Alicia tried to escape.
I opened the door and I got halfway out before he grabbed me by my hair and started pulling me back in, and drove out of the pub like a maniac.
Back at the bush clearing, Alicia pleaded with Curtis to end her life.
Found the knife, put it in his hand and said, just kill me now, just finish it, just get it over and done with. I'm not going to be your little toy, I just want you to end it.
Curtis refused and tried to rape her again, but she put up a fight. Soon afterwards, both men passed out drunk. Alicia was found by a farmer who called the police.
There was a week-long court case and he was found guilty of murder and a string of other offences.
Curtis was also convicted of the abduction of a 15-year-old girl just hours before he'd attacked Alicia and Dean. That girl managed to escape from the boot of his car. Curtis was sentenced to life in prison.
He'd been in prison for About 12 months, and he escaped from prison in a laundry van.
After a week-long manhunt, police found Curtis hiding out in bushland near the scene of Dean Alley's murder. Last year, after serving 32 years here at Risdon Prison, Curtis was released on parole. This was despite a medical report which found Curtis has a personality disorder with multiple psychotic traits. When he was released, police allege Curtis assaulted his new girlfriend. For now, he's back behind bars. This Friday, Curtis is expected to apply for parole again.
He has got absolutely no regard for the law whatsoever. He makes a mockery of the law. The parole conditions that were set in place for him, he breached just about every one of them. How many chances does he need? What will it take? Will it take for him to murder somebody?
Alicia wants to lead a public campaign against his release, but she's constrained by a law in Tasmania that prevents rape survivors from ever speaking under their own names. So she can only speak with her face hidden under an assumed name.
How many times do victims need to be punished and have their power taken away from them? By gagging victims, it gives more power to the offenders.
We have got one of the greatest judicial systems in the world. Let's better it by allowing victims to speak.
David Plumpton has just been appointed to the Tasmanian Parole Board. While he's recused himself from considering Curtis's parole application, he's risking his position to speak in support of Alicia.
I support her because that's what you should do. And now's the chance for the state to support her.
We need to remember that depriving someone of their liberty for 30 years is a long time, irrespective of the crime that they may have committed. And we need to balance that against victims.
Defence barrister and head of the Tasmanian Prisoners Legal Service, Greg Barnes, believes Curtis deserves a second chance.
So long as there are the appropriate supports, then people are entitled to be reintegrated into the community, even though they might have failed on the first occasion.
You use words like abhorrent, you use words like horrendous, but you've got to throw away them words. This was more than that. This was evil.
Evil that Alicia fears will be unleashed once more if Curtis is released.
I think that he will continue for the rest of his life to be a threat to the community, and the community deserve protection from him.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.